Mason Graham, Cleveland's first round pick, signs a contract, and this is the first day of OTAs. Let's talk about it. It's a new day, same fire, let's cook. You know the deal. Talking sports with Reese Wheel. Appreciate y'all joining me today. We got a great show. We added Browns Football Talk Twitter X and a Browns Football Talk Twitch, and I'll be putting that in the description if anybody wants to follow me on that. Adam Scheffler reported today Browns and their first round pick Mason Graham reached agreement today on his 4-year fully guaranteed $40 million deal per his agents Ryan Martha and Ryan Tolner. Mason Graham ended up getting a contract today. We also got footage from the OTAs. They putting it out a little bit at a time. So this is both guys throwing. That was Dillon Gabriel. And then you got Shedeur that came up on. To Hero Fan and Jr. So, and this is the camp. Them guys out there straight out for the OTAs. I got 10 missed calls on my me. You got Joe out there too. Showing some footage for Joe Flacco throwing to Thrash. And the Browns been putting out stuff here and there, but they really hadn't put anything much out. So we all just kind of scrapping to see what they going to put out next. They put a little bit of Joe Flacco. They put a little bit of the running backs running drills, and they put some of the cornerbacks doing some backpedaling drills and a little bit of this and a little bit of that, some D-line drills. But they only had 2 throws. They showed Joe with his throw, Shedeur and Dillon Gabriel with their throws. So nobody's really putting anything out. They keeping hush hush. I'll be interested to find out when are the media going to be able to be there. Was they there today? So we all just waiting to see what kind of footage we can get. Anybody. They know that they put it out on purpose just a little bit, just because they know everybody's trying to grasp and see what's going on. So when I find something out, I'll let y'all know. This is Chris Sims on NBC Sports talking about what he think is going to happen in the QB battle.
But the reality is, though, somebody's not going to get enough reps, and that guy's going to be in danger. And I don't think they're taking those 4 to camp. I think one of those guys will be gone, traded or cut, and replaced with a true camp arm who's there to help get through the individual drills.
Joe Flacco's the guy that's going to get no reps. He's the guy that I look at to go, I think he'll be the one that they'll look at and go, man, Joe knows these plays. Joe's had reps before. If we have 16 plays in a 7-on-7 period, we'll give him maybe the last 2, or he'll have days where he won't get any. I feel like Flacco's going to be on the bottom or the short straw of reps here, Mike.
Put me down for they're going to trade Kenny Pickett before camp.
Okay.
They've been trying to boost Kenny Pickett.
Yeah,
there have been some reports about how he's looked so good in the offseason program, and I think they want somebody to call about Kenny Pickett. But the reality is,
I've said that over and over again that I think Pickett is going. I think Flacco's going to stay here and mentor both of the rookies, and Pickett's out of here. They're making it seem like Pickett's doing a really good job because they want to offer him. They want to see how much trade value he can get. And I know they think in the beginning, I think that they thought maybe he was the guy, maybe Andrew Berry did, but I don't think he's the guy. They don't think he's the guy now. Like I said, with Jimmy Haslam, he wants Shedeur out there. That's what he's going to get. So I wouldn't be surprised if they put Kenny Pickett out there up front so they can make him more attractive for trade. And we already heard that there's been a lot of reports about their wide receiver and their quarterback room for the Saints. I know everybody said that they didn't hear nothing, but I've been hearing a lot lately. And I wanted to take a look at our wide receiver room. Now, Jerry Jeudy, our number one wide receiver, had 1,224 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns, and he averaged 72.3 yards a game. Now, the year before that, he had 758 when he was with Denver. So he's our number one wide receiver. But our second wide receiver is up for grabs. So we picked up Deontay Johnson, and we're hoping that he might get his act together because he was with like 3 teams last year. I don't know what the problem was. Was it discipline? Was he just out of sorts? But Cleveland is hoping that they could get lightning in a bottle with him, because when he was with the Steelers, he had a hell of a career. Right here's his stats. He came out of Toledo. He was with the Steelers in 2019 all the way to 2023. And he had, in 2021, he had 1,161 yards receiving. But then he went downhill. Once he left the Steelers, he went to the Panthers. He only had 357 yards. And then he went to Houston. And this is all in the same year. He only had 12 yards. And then he went to Baltimore. He had 1 catch for 6 yards. So basically, he came here to Cleveland, and this is probably his last shot. So the Browns are hoping that they can catch lightning in a bottle with him, because he does have a lot of talent. And we do need a number 2 wide receiver. Now, our young guys is Cedric Tilman and Jamari Thrash. We got Michael Woods and David Bell. And the rest of the guys are pretty much just a non-factor. Now, we picked up Luke Fleury. That's the guy that caught the touchdown pass in minicamp with Shedeur. And he ended up getting a contract. So maybe he can be like a sleeper. Maybe like a slot receiver, third down kind of guy, because he has sure hands, it looks like. So definitely our wide receiver room is looking real thin. So that's maybe something to look out for the Cleveland Browns, to pick up a wide receiver and maybe dangle one of these quarterbacks out there so we can get a wide receiver to fill up our wide receiver room. Now, Cedric Tilman could be a sleeper from Tennessee Vols. Now, he came here in 2023. He's 6'3", 215 pounds, and it's time for him to show up. Now, last year, he had only 339 yards receiving. He averaged 30 yards a game. He had 3 TDs. The year before that, he had 224 yards. That was his rookie year, and he averaged 16 yards a game with no touchdowns. Now, he is the one that could step up, and it's there for him to step up. 6'3", 215 pounds. He could be a guy to step up and shock everybody. With our wide receiver room being depleted, that's why I thought that we might pick up a weapon like Travis Hunter. Instead, we got the DT, the defensive tackle, Mason Graham, which I'm not saying that he's not going to be good. I believe he's going to be a pretty good player. Pick up somebody on a trade or off of free agency. Keep our eyes open and see what Andrew Berry does with that, because I don't believe he's going to go into the season with these wide receivers unless something dramatic changes. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next video.